Wario, everyone's favorite overweight cheese-cutting garlic muncher. Sometimes he's the star of the show, other times he's butting heads with Mario as an equal, and other times he wins, but at what cost? Today, we're gonna look at Wario's role in every single game he appears in, and rank him from worthless to elite. Mario Land 2: The 6 Golden Coins is the first time we meet this guy, and he's acting as the main antagonist. He takes over Mario's castle and brainwashes all the inhabitants of Mario Land simply out of jealousy. He's also got a lot of powerful henchmen, including Tatanga, the main bad guy from the first Mario Land, meaning he was more than likely behind the events of that game too. But Mario whoops his ass, reclaims what's rightfully his, and kicks Wario to the curb after a solid final boss fight. He's the big bad guy, succeeds in taking over Mario's island, at least for a little bit, and is a pretty threatening villain. This game's the first to feature Wario in the title, and he fittingly plays a pretty large role. The Mario crew goes venturing in a forest to look for a fairy for some reason, and of course Luigi goes missing in the process. They then get harassed by Wario and blinded by some miscellaneous objects he drops, but thankfully that fairy they were looking for saw it all happen and decides to be the eyes of the group until they can find a big strong man to pull the items off their head. Oh you. Wario's the only boss you fight throughout the game, and he's a real thorn in the ass, for no clear reason, so while he is the main antagonist, his lack of a good motive or plan makes this slightly lower than the last game. We'll say annoying roadblock. This game finally makes Wario the main protagonist, and jumpstarts the entire Wario Land series. He gets his own slate of bad guys with the Black Sugar Gang, and they're led by Captain Syrup, who steals a golden Princess Peach statue from Mario's castle, and Wario's goal is to steal it from them before Mario can take it back himself. Surprisingly, he succeeds, for a second, because Mario swoops by in a helicopter and snags it right under his nose. But he does get to keep the rest of Captain Syrup's loot, and since he freed her genie, he decides to do Wario a solid and turn his collected treasure into a new home. This can range from a birdhouse to his own frickin' planet, but the second best result is a full-on castle, and since that returns in future Wario games, that's the true ending. So he achieves his lifelong goal of getting his own castle, beats up an entire gang of pirates all on his own, all the while being spotlighted as the main character and being playable from start to finish. That reeks of an elite tier. Wario decides he wants to take over the woods for no real reason. The main heroes in this game are, get this, Toad, Birdo, and Wanda. Not a star-studded squad, and the fact that they best him here isn't a great look. He's going down an annoying roadblock. The Wario x Bomberman collab that I'm just now learning about is definitely the most unique Wario game. You look at the gameplay and it's obviously just a Bomberman game with a Wario skin. He looks pretty out of place, but he is still the focal point, so I'll toss it in playable but average. This time around, he's once again the main playable character, and now he's trying to escape some giant cave system while also collecting some money along the way. The gameplay's not great and the visuals are atrociously red, but he's just as capable as he was in the first Wario Land game and does successfully escape the caves in the end. But it's a frickin' Virtual Boy game, I can't put this in elite. He's a good main character though. In the second, but actual third Wario Land game, Wario's playing the defensive for the first time. Rather than going after someone else's treasure, his gets stolen by the Black Sugar Gang, and he's gotta chase him down to retrieve it. Gameplay this time kinda makes him OP. He no longer has a health bar, can't get a game over, and has new abilities that make him stronger than ever, which lets him kick the shit out of Captain Syrup's squad with ease, and shoots him right up to another elite tier. The next Wario Land game, once again, doesn't have Wario causing any mischief. His plane crash lands in the forest, so he walks into a nearby cave, gets sucked into some weird music box world, and gets tasked by this mysterious figure to break some hidden seal and restore his powers. Don't know if I should trust this guy, but he promises Wario a way home, and what other choice does he really have? Cue the gameplay, Wario collecting all 5 music boxes and freeing the supposed god of the world, who turns out to be an evil clown. I fucking knew it. This dude is creepy looking, and he's certainly a more menacing foe than the previous Wario Land games, but Wario still takes him down pretty handedly and turns all the people of the land back to normal. He only went about his quest to escape the music box world and maybe make a quick buck, but he also inadvertently saved a whole bunch of people, and it's the first time we've really seen him in the role of a hero. And yes, he still gets out with some serious treasure, so it's a win for everybody, and a clear-cut elite. You wouldn't expect it, but Wario's actually one of 2 playable characters in Dr. Mario 64, and that doesn't mean it's a great role, but it already exceeded my expectations. He's involved a decent amount and serves as an adversary to Dr. Mario, but not as the primary bad guy. Still, he's more than just an average playable character, he's pretty freaking prominent, so I think threatening bad guy is fair for him. And there is a mobile Dr. Mario game called Dr. Mario World, and that does feature Wario, but that shut down a couple of years ago, so we don't have to talk about it. Wario hears about a newly discovered pyramid ruin and races over to loot it, which like usual, gets him trapped in it. He fights his way through, battles the spirit of some old lady, and gets out with a boatload of cash. Standard Wario activity, but compared to Wario Land 2 and 3, his actions are a lot less justified, and he's just doing it to get even richer, so he'll go main character tier, because he's highly prominent, but doesn't have as much impact outside of his bank account, and decimating a historic site. Wario starts his own company to capitalize on the oh-so-lucrative gaming industry. He calls up a bunch of his pals, forms WarioWare Inc., and they make a game that makes bank. But Wario does what any good CEO would do and decides not to share the profits with any of his employees. A textbook dick move. But he gets what's coming to him when his escape rocket crashes into this guy and causes all his hard-earned money to fly away. So he exploits his friends, then undoes all his success by losing every penny. Burning bridges and having nothing to show for it. I really want to go low with this one, but the game is named after him, so we'll say he's a bad guy that's also a little bit threatening. And since WarioWare Mega Party Games is the same thing with added multiplayer, that's going right there too. In this one, he steals a strange black jewel that he doesn't know is actually alive with a vengeance, and it turns all his treasure into monsters and boots his ass from his castle. He goes around rescuing these forest pixies called Spritelings, and they help him take back his kingdom and take down the black jewel. He's not causing any mischief, he's just got some misfortune, and he overcomes it with the help of the Spritelings, so he doesn't do it single-handedly, which makes it lower than Elite, but a solid main character tier. This is the one mainline Mario game that actually incorporates Wario, and it does so in a major way. He's one of the 4 playable characters and plays a crucial role in saving the day. This might be the easiest Elite of the video. He's a main character in a Super Mario series game. Elite! This game's basically the same as the first WarioWare story. He finds out about a cool new Nintendo gimmick, this time the touchscreen, and makes games about it. This also marks the first appearance of Wario Man, his superhuman alter ego that makes him think he can pull a Spider-Man and stop a speeding train. He can't, still a main character though. Wario does the most relatable thing of all time and breaks his Game Boy as a result, so he takes it to get repaired, and now the only input it recognizes is tilting. After seeing how much fun his friends are having with it, he decides to make minigames around the concept. Now, love him or hate him, this man's a true industry disruptor. It ends with him once again in super form, and this time he gets annihilated by a rocket. Is that like a theme in these games, him getting cooked in the finale? We'll see, but for now, I want to give it some credit because he doesn't screw anyone over, and rather gets screwed, so I'll raise him to main character tier. His brother Waluigi is the main evil mastermind in this game, which is the most we've ever seen him do. Wario, on the other hand, just does some evil biddings to help his bro. He's holding one of the music keys that the Mario Bros need to beat Waluigi and refuses to give it up, until he loses a fucking dance fight, and that's the end of that. He's a worthy opponent here, and puts up a good fight for his brother's plan, threatening bad guy. Wario's a power-type character that's fully playable and gets his own stage. Solid, nothing crazy, playable, and average. Wario does make an appearance in Yoshi's Island DS, and he's even involved in some of the gameplay, but he's a helpless baby that's being carried around by Yoshi, so a pretty self-explanatory worthless. Same old recycled WarioWare premise. He likes the motion controls on the Wii Remote and decides to capitalize on it for cash. Main character. In Wario Master of Disguise, Wario gets jealous of some dude on TV and decides to jump into the world of television to, of course, get rich quick. He gets a hold of a super powerful magic wand that gives him all sorts of cool powers, and uses that to assemble the Wish Stone so he can wish for some bills. When he completes the Wish Stone though, he unleashes some evil demon from within, and it tries to devour the souls of everyone in the universe. Wario beats it up, seals it away in an alternate dimension, and goes to head back to reality with his newfound riches. They don't transfer over. He saves the day, which would normally help him out a good bit, but it's television, it's not real, and since he didn't achieve his main goal of stacking bread, he's pretty freaking average. He's playable in every single Mario and Sonic Olympic game, Mr. Consistency. Wario hears about a magical bag that infinitely drops coins whenever you shake it, hence the namesake, and sets out to go bring back some bacon. He retrieves the bag, saves the queen in doing so, and just does not give a f*** about her because he's rich now. Roll credits, the end, Wario's successful, but then he's not. Apparently, Captain Syrup was the one that planted the idea to get that endless money bag into Wario's head, and after he did all the work to get it, she swoops in while he's distracted and runs off, which is how the game ends. So he doesn't achieve his goal. He still does a good deed, even if he didn't mean it, so he gets decent credit as a main character. In this one too many OSHA violations caused a ton of his workforce to leave his company for one that'll treat him a bit better, and can you really blame him? So without any qualified employees, he puts the player to work to make the games for him, and just teaches some fundamentals so he can sit back while we slave away. Pretty friggin' worthless if you ask me. Just like Mario Hoops, he's fully playable and has a stage based on the factory he apparently has. Average playable role. Still haven't played this game, but Wario's here as a playable guy and is pretty average. This one's a WarioWare game in disguise, but instead of having over 100 micro games, you get 16 slightly more substantial mini-games, and I use substantial very liberally. Takes like an hour to beat, where other games in the series were on handhelds and had more than double the content. I'm going playable but average here. It hardly offers anything, and it's a shame. The Wii U offers a lot of potential for unique gimmicky mini-games, but this barely scratches the surface. The pack entitled Nintendo Land did a much better job, and it was free. In the original Super Mario Maker, tapping a Wario amiibo into the game unlocks him as a playable skin, which is a cool bonus, but not him, so worthless. Same role as the other Mario Sport compilation. He's here, playable, and that's enough, honestly. Apparently, Wario's a brokey in this game, so to reclaim some of his riches quickly, he steals a super valuable pot from Luxville and hosts a tournament called the Wario Bowl. Contestants pay an entry fee and compete in a bunch of familiar micro games, but Wario takes all the prize money for himself and almost gets away with it if it weren't for those meddling kids that bought this frickin' game. He loses and doesn't get to keep any cash, but it was a solid plan, and I've certainly seen worse from the guy, so since he plays a large role and is a solid final boss, he's overall a threatening villain. Wario the game dev's back at it again with his least polished project yet. It's so glitched out that it sucks his entire workforce into the game world, which he works through to defeat all the bugs and save all his employees. Sounds like a rather heroic Wario, and it kinda is, until you realize all the bugs were entirely his fault, and at the end of the game, there's still people trapped in the game that they have to go back and save. So, dude caused the problem in the first place, and while he did redeem himself pretty well, I can't give him a whole lot of credit. I'll say it averages out. This might be the stupidest WarioWare plot yet. He walks by a food stand and buys 50 garlic burgers to hopefully win some promotional contest and get a free vacation. The best part is, it actually works, and he takes all his employees as his +1s. And it's actually pretty nice of him. Might actually make up for some of his other Most of the game is his employees doing different island activities. He's only there for a couple of minigames, then at the end of the game, when his greed gets the best of him, where do they come up with this stuff? He unleashes some ancient curse that puts the entire island in danger, but thankfully, his crew's pretty reliable and they save him. I'm probably gonna go playable but average again. He almost causes another genocide and isn't even the only playable guy in the game, so I think that's being pretty generous. Speaking for the Mario Tennis series as a whole, Wario is a much more prominent character than he is in other sports games. The original on the N64 introduced his brother Waluigi to be his doubles partner, the GameCube entry had them causing all kinds of mischief, and even in the more recent ones, he stands out from most of the other cast members. I'd say he deserves more than just another playable character. He's a rather threatening bad guy and a damn good rival to Mario. In the golf series, Wario hasn't missed a single entry, which is good, but unlike tennis, there's nothing special or exciting about this version, so solid. Same thing with the Mario Baseball series, Mario Strikers, Mario Kart, and Mario Party. Kinda a cop-out, but there's not much to talk about here. You could argue Smash Bros. Is another playable but average, but I think Wario's portrayed a bit better in these games than just a regular Mario sports game. For starters, it's his WarioWare look, so he's more independent and has his own series, but he also plays a pretty big antagonistic role in the Subspace Emissary, so he's not just another nobody in a sea of gaming characters. He's also a higher tier fighter in the latest game, and I'd hate to see a good one online, so I'd say he's a threatening bad guy. And there you have it.